welcome back. So one of the things that I love is skulls. I've got a few pieces here. This is a piece of a plaster cast that didn't work out. I was just playing around with things, but I really like how much is already there. I've got a 3D printed skull, just part of it. Anyway, I wanted to kind of make these look a little more realistic, and so I plan on painting these. I'm going to have my daughter join in because she's quite the artist as well, so she'll probably actually paint these. I've got another skull that I came across, this beautiful orange one. It's actually a really neat resin skull. It's got a lot of cool detail. I really like the shape, and it's heavy. I don't think it's solid. It's probably hollow resin, but it's a pound and a half or so. But it's orange, and I don't like that. I want it to be more realistic. So I'm gonna remove all of the orange paint, and then I'm gonna prepare it and paint it to look more realistic. So the main tool that I'm gonna use to take all of this orange paint off is a multi-tool. No, not that multi-tool, more powerful. Still the wrong one. No, the electric multi-tool. There we go, that's what I'm talking about. Now, if you are not familiar with a multi-tool, let me explain a little bit about it. So a multi-tool is just this simple tool that the head, this area right here, the head just vibrates back and forth, zzz, really fast. I've got a sanding head on it right now, a big triangle. This sandpaper comes off with Velcro, so I can just switch out the sandpaper. But you can switch out this head. Some other heads that you find on multi-tools are saw blades. They go zzz. This is great for sawing into things like drywall when you want to cut out a hole for a new electric plug, for example. And you can saw perfectly flat against a surface like this, so it's really neat. There's also chippers, so that you can use to like chip off paint or other difficult things. There's round saws, so you can saw in a lot of different angles. Diamond bit blades for cutting things you need a diamond bit for. Here's a little tiny plunge saw. Several of the teeth are missing on this, but I still use it. And then here's an aggressive grinding blade for grinding hard things. There's also, along with that sandpaper, there's a smaller triangle. You can see the difference here. For getting in the details, I'll be using this one also after I'm done using that one. I want to bring back some of the detail that this didn't have in the first place. A lot of it is cleaning up these sutures, making sure we can see them and completing them. I'm also going to clarify the teeth here so that they look more like they're actually separate teeth that are inserted in there. And I'll put a few other missing details in there. I'm going to use my Dremel tool with some diamond bits. So I'm trying to sand this 3D printed skull, and it just doesn't seem to be going fast enough for me. So I don't know what material this was printed with, but I know that some plastics that they use for 3D printing can be smoothed out using acetone. So I have a little bit of acetone here. I'm just going to try it out. Acetone, you know, is fingernail polish remover, but this is like super strength. So, oh yeah. So this just smooths it out as I paint it on. It like melts it. Through a process of combining the use of acetone and just sanding, I've got most of the lines out of this. There are a few places that still have lines, but I'm going to cover this with a primer. I'll sand it again some more. We'll get it smooth enough. Now, one thing I wanted to do with this is I wanted to add some more detail, maybe make this one a little scarier. And so to do that, I'm going to use Magic Sculpt. It's a 2-part resin clay. And the cool thing about it is that before it hardens, it's soluble in water. So you can smooth it out just with water. So this bowl back here doesn't have acetone in it, it has water now. And so all we do is we get 2 parts. We want equal part. So I've got a couple of balls here that are, take some of that away. They're basically the same size, and now we're just going to mix them together. When this is all dry, it's going to end up being a hard plastic. So now I think I'll give this guy some horns. got the shapes all done. It's time to hit them with an undercoat. I chose this paint that has primer built into it. The color itself doesn't matter, though I want a light color because I've got to paint it bone colored. And bone, although it's not exactly white, it's closer to white than anything else. So we'll go ahead and hit these with a dusting of paint. All right, I've got a special guest here. I've got, not these guys, these aren't our special guests. This is our special guest. This is my daughter, Mia.
Hi.
And we've got our skulls here. Mia, what's the next thing?
Okay, so our skulls are all painted white. We need to get like this like ivory color to kind of paint it more like bone-like.
We're gonna age the skulls. So I've got several colors. I've got burnt umber, and I've got a transparent burnt umber. It's more like a glaze. I've got a translucent oak color and raw sienna. I also, if we need them, I've got black and gray. But mostly we're just gonna be using these browns. What we're gonna do is you take your paint. This is my raw sienna right here, and I'm going to
water
get it wet. Yeah, so I'm gonna use my brush to.
Oh, where's that diarrhea color?
Raw sienna.
Oh, raw sienna.
Okay, and now when we look at this, the places that are going to be the dirtiest or the most aged are anywhere that can catch dirt. So it's going to be all of the little cracks, anywhere that's like a hole. So I'm going to, well, I'll just start with my brush since I have some, but I'm going to paint some down in here. And we paint it on. We don't have to be nice, just get it in there. And then we take our paper towel and wipe it off.
So you paint the little cracks?
Well, eventually. So you can go ahead and do that, but kind of pick places. Yeah, paint the
like
cracks.
In here.
Yep. And what should happen is the paint will tend to stick inside cracks and dips and stuff, but it will. But then you wipe it off of the higher spots. It also kind of tints the whole thing a little bit. So even though my bone, my undercoat was much whiter than yours, it's gonna feel more bone-like just by doing this. First coat done, and you can see it's blotchy, uneven. That's totally kind of what you want, and it actually looks good. I mean, you could sell that at a Halloween store and people would say, hey, that looks like a realistic skull. It's not enough. Not good enough. So if you want something darker, just use more burnt umber. Use this burnt umber.
Okay.
We'll try not to use black.
Yeah.
We want to use as little black as we can.
I learned from my art teacher that most of the time you never use black.
Yeah.
Like with colors and shadows, just use like blue or something.
Color,
darker
or
color.
A complementary color.
Because it looks better.
Yeah. Yep. I've got several browns on here and it looks really good, but it still kind of feels one color to me, so I'm going to add some other colors. Yellow, green, red. Okay, the last step are these teeth, because teeth are actually pretty smooth, so I'm going to put some gloss, clear gloss cover just over the teeth. That'll make them shine a little bit more than the bone itself.
You should probably put the gloss varnish on top of mine.
Yep, and you like the teeth. You can put some on the horns if you wanted.
Little on the nose. Uh-oh. Ta-da! That was only... Okay, so we finished. This is the end result. I think it looks way better, like, painted with all the different shades of brown, like, in the shadowy areas. It's a lot of texture, and it kind of makes the skull pop out a little bit. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.